I just finished the finale of She-Hulk, and yeah, this is probably in top 4 of the Disney Plus shows for me when it comes to the MCU. I'm just gonna say it. It's like in my top 4. It's in top 4.
Ladies and gentlemen.
Hey, what's going on, everybody? It's your boy Will, and this is going to be my spoiler review for episodes 8 and 9 of She-Hulk, Attorney at Law. This is going to cover Ribbit and Rip It, and whose show is this? I think I said both of those titles correctly, and just my hopes for if we get a season 2 of She-Hulk, because season 1's a banger. Season 1 is great. This is going to be a spoiler review, like all of these reviews have been. So if you haven't watched any of the episodes up until this point, or episodes 8 or 9, the finale, hopefully you pause the video or just give me a like, maybe share this video, and then go watch it and come back and actually watch the video and hear my thoughts on the episode. And if this happens to be the first time you're checking me out, hi, my name is Will, and I do geeky stuff on the internet. So I do reviews and reactions and other type of geeky videos on this channel, and I've been doing it for a while and I have a lot of fun doing it. So if you happen to like that and you like it from a geeky bear's perspective, yes, I am a homosexual, why not subscribe to the channel? I'd love to get to know you, and it'd be awesome, and I'd love to entertain you as best as I can. So let's talk about these last 2 episodes of She-Hulk. So She-Hulk, first off, has been a 9-episode series. I think a lot of people thought it was going to be like 6 or 7 episodes, because I was talking to a friend of mine. He thought it was only going to be 6 episodes, but he was surprised that we had 3 extra episodes. And one thing I will say about this series is that the entire concept, besides being a personal story about Jen and her coming to terms with this new side of her and learning to find balance, and also trying to continue to be successful and dealing with all the BS that women deal with. It's also a series that subverts your expectations. And I think that's great, especially now, considering how large and how long the MCU has been going on, with a lot of the tropes and the unspoken rules, or dealing with toxic fan bases and stuff like that. I think this series does a really good job sort of playing with that, showing people how stupid it is, but also being about the person who the show is titled about, not about everything else that's happening. It's a good commentary to have, especially when we look at so many properties and movies that we've had in this universe, where some of the movies tend to suffer because they focus so much more on the rest of the world and not about the story that they're trying to tell. So, like, case in point, especially with the finale episode, but even with episode 8, where it's entitled Ribbit and Rip It, she's going up against Luke, the person that did all of her tailoring, because of a client that she's being forced to with the law firm that she was working with, GLK&H. And it puts her at odds with Luke, but this is also how we are introduced to Matt Murdock in the MCU, where he is another client of Luke's who's deciding to do the case pro bono, and ends up winning the case because of something obviously that Jen missed, because her client is an idiot and she kind of misjudged it, and caused a little bit of strife between her and Luke, which gets reconciled by the end of the episode. I really like Jen and Matt's relationship, not only in episode 8, but also in the finale, because we do get them back in the finale. And it really was a good person for Jen to kind of interact with and learn from, in terms of how to balance being a superhero and being a lawyer, because he does that every day. Obviously, his identity is not revealed to the world, but it is a perspective that she wouldn't get from anybody else. The only other person she really has a perspective for with her powers is Bruce, who was only in like the first 2 episodes, basically. It's a really great relationship. It's really great interaction. I love their team up in the episode, especially where they kind of scrap with each other at first. This is before Jen realizes it's Matt, and how they team up to actually stop her client, who is also Frogman, or Frogger, or whatever. I forgot his name. I think it's just Frogman, who ends up kidnapping Luke. She has to help stop him while also saving Luke. And it's a really cool fight sequence between Jen and Matt, and also with Matt and Jen teaming up against Frogman and his henchmen, and inevitably leading to Jen smashing Matt, which was awesome. I'm so glad they hooked up. And I like how they kind of continued that sort of relationship in the finale as well. Hopefully teasing maybe a cameo by Jen and Daredevil Born Again. And I saw a lot of discourse online, people mad how they use Daredevil or like, oh, it's not the same one. I'm like, please, first off, shut the fuck up. Secondly, yeah, Daredevil's hooked up with a lot of people in the comics. Just because you haven't does not mean that he can't. So you need to stop there. And thirdly, this is a completely different version of the Matt Murdock character than the one that we got in the Netflix series. Obviously, there are going to be similarities and parallels, but clearly this is going to be a much different version and probably a more enjoyable version for Charlie Cox to probably play. I mean, at least he's getting laid by non-psychotic ninjas, so that's a good thing, though. But I really like the interpretation of Daredevil. I like the fact that they went with the classic red and yellow, and they actually made it work pretty well on screen. I was a little nervous about it, but they also hinted that Luke made him a couple suits. So maybe we'll get some of those in the new Daredevil series. So that'll be interesting to see. If the episode 8 ended there, that'd be great. But obviously there still was a runtime, and they had this gala that Jen was being honored at, which turned out to be every woman lawyer in the room was honored at. But it was really more so of a setup. Well, not really a setup, not the award, but Intelligentsia, who is obviously the real villains of this. They released incriminating footage and all the stuff that Josh did with Jen, basically causing Jen to rage out in front of everybody, which puts her in hot water. And that's where the episode 8 ends, with that cliffhanger with Jen's whole life upended because of Intelligentsia, and completely unsure how they were going to resolve that with the finale. And I'm so glad they resolved it the way that they resolved it. So with episode 9, it does pick up with Jen in the same prison cell that Blonsky was in. So it's kind of a mirror of the beginning of the season, with Jen now in that role. And basically having to take a plea deal where she couldn't become SheHulk anymore. And it was very similar to the plea deal that Blonsky had to take. And it's just a montage of Jen's life basically in shambles. She loses her job because obviously screw GLK and H. She becomes very motivated and focused on trying to take down Intelligentsia and sue them, not necessarily like go smash, 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 but do it her way, which is through the law. And that's the whole thing about Jen's character throughout the entire series. I really like how she's very much about doing things within the law, within the system, to try to make things work, and how by the end of it, she's very much still the same way. She wants to do it her way, but I think her interactions with Matt really changed her perspective of how she can honestly do more when the law fails people as She-Hulk. And that's something, that was a really cool line that Matt delivered in episode 8. I'm just running through everything because these are probably the strongest 2 episodes of the season, albeit the season had a lot of really strong episodes. And as things start escalating, as Jen's still looking for Intelligentsia, Nikki teams up with Pug and is able to infiltrate Intelligentsia, and come to find out that Todd, the creepy guy that's been stalking Jen, is actually the leader of Intelligentsia and the one that sparked all this stuff with a bunch of other whiny man babies in this remote lodge, basically, which turns out to be the lodge at Blonsky's retreat, where Blonsky's doing a presentation for these guys, which really throws a monkey wrench when Jen walks in, because Jen's just completely taken aback with Blonsky transforming into Abomination while he's not supposed to, basically screwing up his parole, and also like being a mentor to these guys, but not really okay with it. And then it turns into this big crescendo where Todd uses the blood that they sold as a synthesizer to turn into a Hulk, and they start scrapping, and then Titania busts through the wall, and then Bruce comes flying in to try to ex-machina the situation. The whole time Jen is like,
none of these storylines make any sense. Is this working for you? Hey.
turned into the ultimate fourth wall break of the series, because she calls it out. This is nonsense at this point. The whole thing just boiled over into one giant nonsensical fight. It really was nonsensical, and I will admit to that. As cool as it might be to see Hulk and Abomination throw hands again. Like, why would Titania just pop up there for no reason when she's been gone for like 2 episodes? And so she ends up like breaking out of the episode onto Disney Plus, and then jumps into, you know, the assembled things where they do the behind the scenes for every show and movie that's come out over the last couple of years. So she breaks in there to try to talk to the writers and goes to the writer's room and is like, what is this? And then everybody's like, well, this is what Kevin wanted. So she's like, I'll go talk to Kevin. And I'm thinking in my head, is he finally going to cameo? I mean, it would make the most sense. But on top of that, that's not what this show is about, making the most sense. It's about subverting expectations. And when she meets Kevin, it is a algorithm android bot thing. And Jen's is not having it. And it really just boils down to is like,
It's often said that Marvel movies all end the same way. Distracts from the story, which is that my life fell apart right when I was learning to be both Jen and She-Hulk. Those are my stakes, Kevin.
it's true. It's her story. She's on the title. This is her story. It's not about what Bruce is doing. It's not about stealing blood or having this big fight with a creepy guy who all of a sudden gets Hulk powers. Like, that just didn't make any sense. And again, I theorize it might be the leader and stuff like that. So I kind of played into it. Because that's what I do. I theorize about stuff. But I'm so glad to have been wrong, and I'm so glad that the show stayed true to what it is. It's a lawyer comedy show that just happens to have superheroes in it. And the fact that this is really her story and her coming to terms with this new phase in her life of being a superpowered being, and it shouldn't be some big bombastic ending. If Todd is the bad guy, he doesn't need powers, and she goes through and clears up all this stuff with Kevin. Okay, like, Todd doesn't need to be a Hulk. That makes no sense. Bruce shouldn't even be here. Again, they were like, oh, but he was going to reveal, and she was like, yeah, just save it for a movie. And then, like, with Blonsky, to resolve that, he just needs to own up to the consequences of his actions. He broke his parole, so yeah, he's going to have to go back to prison. And she wanted to see Daredevil again. So he just popped out of nowhere. And so that was really good. And so then the episode wraps up as it should. But she did drop hints about, like, when are we getting the X-Men? Or, like, why are there so many, you know, male orphans? And, like, why does everyone have issues with their dads? And she just started reading stuff off and talking about, you know, she wants to see Daredevil again because she wants to smash it again.
Well, yeah, that's what Hulks do. We smash things. Bruce smashes buildings, I smash fourth walls and bad endings. And sometimes Matt Murdock.
Okay.
That's basically how it ends. You know, they're able to, you know, arrest all the guys from Intelligentsia. She's able to countersue these guys and get her life back, and is able to be She-Hulk again. And even the reporter asked her, are you going to be doing it as lawyer or superhero? And she teases that she'll do both, which I think is really good. And because she now can live that life of duality, but live it differently than most people, because she gets to live it in the spotlight. And she's comfortable who she is now. And that was kind of the whole point of the episode. Plus, just again, having Daredevil just pop down, and Pug's like, are they hooking up? Is this a thing? He's like, she's like, calm down. It's awesome. There were 2 teases in this episode. We got Hulk showing up to a barbecue with the family, and, you know, Matt's there as well as Jen's date, and they're like grilling Matt like parents do and stuff like that. And Hulk shows up with his son Scar, which just out of the blue, they're doing Scar, so I'm like, that's cool. That's why he had to leave and go meet his kid, apparently. So maybe he'll be in season 2. I have no idea. And then last but not least, Blonsky is just chilling in his prison cell when Wong decides to break him out, and he's going to chill out at Carmitage for a little bit. So that's the end of season 1 of She-Hulk. And yeah, this is definitely in my top 4. I haven't ranked them yet. There's been 8 series. And again, none of them have been bad. Just like with the movies. None of the movies I would say are god-awful terrible or anything like that, are really bad at all. I mean, a lot are stronger than the others, but this finale really sort of, you know, proved the point. It's like having a lot of things where they just de-evolve into a giant hoss fest, nonsensical battle, sometimes is cool, but other times not at the sacrifice of a good character story. And I think She-Hulk has proven that this sort of character story was really well done. It completely took the expectations that people would have assumed this series would have done and just threw it out the window. I really did enjoy the show a lot. I'm glad that they went with this sort of ending, with this finale. It completely, because I'm thinking after the end of episode 8, I'm like, how are they going to wrap this up? But I don't want to, I want it to wrap up, but I want it to stay true to how it should wrap up. And they did. I mean, the fact that she literally breaks into the real world to go talk to the writers about how stupid that finale was starting to be was textbook She-Hulk. This is probably the most comic book accurate MCU project that there has been. Like, hands down, pretty damn accurate to what She-Hulk is as a character. Even how the episode opened with the play on the old Bill Bixby Hulk TV show was great. I really do like these characters. I'm curious to see if we get a season 2, if she'll start her own law firm. Like, she'll take cues from how Matt does it in Hell's Kitchen, where she does things like pro bono and really tries to fight for regular people and also for, other superpowered people, since the series, which another thing about episode 8, which I completely forgot about, the Sokovia Accords were repealed, so they're not a thing anymore. So superheroes can kind of act on their own without government oversight, which could lead to some issues with damage control getting more power, which is kind of scary. But I think that's a big thing that in season 2, if Jen starts representing other superheroes who are not necessarily have the backing of a big corporate law firm like GLK&H. And I'd love to see Pug and Nikki join that team. That would be really cool. Even Mallory, I would like to see more of, but most likely she's going to stick with the place that she's at. But if Jen started a law firm with Pug and Nikki, I would be completely down for that. I think that would be an awesome way to continue season 2, continue in more cases with other superpowered beings. That would be really cool. Maybe get a Squirrel Girl cameo. That would be awesome. And continue to explore Jen just, being kind of a celebrity, but also still doing what she's doing, but maybe even do a little bit more of the superheroing now that she feels like she can balance those two worlds. I think that would be really fun for a season 2. I really, really enjoyed how this series just did its thing completely unapologetically. And the fact that this was recorded and filmed and was in the can months before it ever hit the internet, and how they predicted how people would act online is genius and sad, because it realized how toxic this fandom can be. As a series, I think this was a lot of fun. I love the fourth wall breaking. I love how it balanced a serious tone, but keeping it light and enjoyable and fun to watch. It was so much fun to watch this series. There's not many series that I have gone back to watch again, and I really feel like this is one I would love to go back and watch again and really kind of look at it even closer and just enjoy it and just continue to laugh out loud like it happened. So those are just my general thoughts on episode 8 and 9 of She-Hulk. I think overall the series was very strong. It was different. It was fun. It completely subverted my expectations, which is I'm always for, because people think they know what they want. But when you get what you actually need like this, then it's awesome. And I really enjoyed it. Like I said, this is top 4 for me of the Disney Plus Marvel series. Not counting Werewolf by Night. That's a completely separate thing. But I really hope that you've checked out the series yourself and you've enjoyed it. Let me know some of your favorite parts of the series. Not just episodes 8 and 9, but the entire series as a whole. Let me know those any of those thoughts that you have in the comments down below. As always, thank you so much for checking out this and all my videos. I really do appreciate it. I will be doing episode 4 through 6 review for Andor this weekend at some point, so that might be a little late coming out, but I will get it out. At worst case, it'll be like Monday or something like that. So look out for that. You can go back and watch my previous reviews for the series as well. I don't know when Secret Invasion is coming out, but I'll probably do some episodes for reviews for that. I'll probably do them in pairs like I did with this one, because I think that formula worked out pretty well, but we'll just have to wait and see. But again, comment, like, share, do all that fun stuff. I really do appreciate you doing it. It really helps me out. You can follow me on a lot of different social media platforms listed at the end of this video. I do have a ton of videos already on the channel. Like I said, you're more than welcome to check out. Like, share, subscribe, all that fun stuff. And as always, until next time, I'll catch you later. Hey, thanks for watching this video. If you did like this video, why not give me a thumbs up and share it with your friends? You can subscribe to the channel by clicking on my gorgeous little face right over there. You can follow me on all the various social media platforms right below. And last but certainly not least, if you've got a few extra minutes, why not check out one of the lovely videos floating right over here. Later.